Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose. This is the Tarot portion and the second half of my daily astrology vlog, which you can check out on my other channel, Astrology Today with Mel Rose. Over there, you're going to find a description of the day's astrology as I have spelled it out here. Here, I'm going to discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page, and then I'll play another card that, in the context of the day's astrology, may give us a little something more to think about. So let's get into it. The card that currently sits on the side of the page is the Six of Cups, and it's here because it corresponds in astrology with the second 10 days or the second decan of the Sun's transit in the land here of Scorpio. Scorpio is a water sign, and cups in tarot are water element symbolism. And water element symbolism is very much about our emotions, how the experiences that we have feel to us, and what sort of information, what sensations we derive from that, and what information and questions arise from it as well. So we come to the Six of Cups, and the Six of Cups is really meant to be a point of reverie. This is as though we are looking back on a fond childhood memory. Perhaps, perhaps we had a friend. There was somebody who was very helpful to us at that time, who included us when we needed to be included. And we have fond memories of that person, or perhaps it was just, our home, the place we grew up, our community, our own village, or our own family, that we have these fond memories of. It could be really any circumstance from the past that sort of comes to meet us in the present and where we feel really pleasant about it, okay? So, that could be somebody out of your past showing up for you. That could be, going back to the home that you grew up at when you haven't been there in a long time. Or that could just be sort of an old job trying to call you back or something like that as well. So the Six of Cups is just this point of like really remembering fondly, what has transpired in the past, your connection with a person, place, or thing. Cups are very much about emotion. They're also about connection. So they're about relationship, right? There's the little caveat that comes with this. That's like, when that thing presents itself in whatever way it does, whenever we get brought back to the past and we're sitting there in happy reverie, we need to remember not to allow that to blind us to what is happening in the present moment, okay? And with that said, I'm going to shuffle these cards a little bit more and just say thank you so much for being here. I truly appreciate your presence. Please click the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, click that notifications bell. I am here every day, and I'm so glad that you're here with me today. So, turn this card over. We got the Hermit. Friends, I thought we'd never stop getting that Ace of Wands. It's such a relief every day now when that Ace of Wands does not turn over. It'll probably be here tomorrow, right? So the Hermit is a major arcana card. It's a major message card. I swear my whole deck is not major message cards, but they do come up a lot here. The Hermit is about the desire that one has to learn more about something. And for me with the Hermit, it often comes back to like more esoteric knowledge, or just, knowledge that you have to really dive into to come to understand well, right? You have to give all of your time, attention, and focus. It's like going to school, but it's really more like taking yourself to school, right? By spending the time sort of in seclusion to do the investigative work that you need to do, to become familiar with the material that you desire to become familiar with. I can relate to this simply, over the past year or so. I started this Astrology Today partly because I felt like I'd come to a place with astrology where I wasn't learning more, and I wasn't learning more because I wasn't able to share it. I didn't feel like I could share it with anybody. So I thought I would start sharing about what I knew, and what that did was it caused me to learn a lot more, ask more questions. It helped me learn what questions I needed to ask, right? So that I could be an informative source for the people that I'm trying to reach. So, sometimes, we are self-learning, which doesn't mean that we don't have teachers that we can recognize and respect, but it means that we are taking ourselves sort of out of the flow of regular human life, and we're sort of tucking ourselves away and diving into the data, diving into the jargon and lingo, diving into the systems that we seek to understand better. So where do we see the Hermit on the chart right now? Where do I see the Hermit on the chart right now? I guess what's coming up for me is this Neptune in reverse in Pisces. It's a very creative place. Neptune is right at home in Pisces. Neptune is Pisces' modern ruler. Jupiter is Pisces' traditional ruler. Jupiter and Neptune are both retrograde in Pisces right now. So there's a lot of introspection on the board there, okay? And that's something that comes with the Hermit too, is it's not just about learning about the material that you want to know, but it's also doing the work on yourself, to develop the discipline that you need in order to hold the knowledge, to have a capacity to hold and wield the knowledge you want to wield. So, Jupiter and Neptune here in Pisces, very reflective, very somewhat emotional, but not just emotional, creative, thinking about the way things connect to one another, using our imaginations, or as Albert Einstein would have said, creating thought experiments, right? So there are a lot of good thought experiments to be had at this time, just to sort of take what you know about a thing, ask a question you don't know the answer to, and see if you can extrapolate from what you know or what you can find out by looking it up to find out the answer to that thing. And generally what that will do, it'll answer a lot of questions, and then it will open up a lot more questions. And, Neptune in Pisces, that can be a really usually kind of foggy feeling, very misty atmosphere, almost like you're navigating in a dense fog. But Neptune in retrograde gives us like intuitive clarity. And, when you're going to tuck yourself away and learn something, there does need to be some intuitive clarity there. You have to sort of create almost intuitively a system for, again, figuring out which questions you need to ask and get answered, right? So intuitive clarity at this time, and it's intuitive clarity, and it's in retrograde, so it's for the purpose of inspecting ourselves. It's for the purpose of knowing what our imagination, what our intuitions are telling us, and even what our emotions are telling us about whether we're on the right track or not. And I want to say, sometimes, the way our emotions or our intuitions talk to us about whether we're on the right track or not is just a feeling of satisfaction with what you're doing, or a feeling of not being satisfied with what you're doing, right? Or like, okay, I said that I was going to do it this way, but I'm finding it very tedious right now. So, don't be afraid to be creative. Don't be afraid to be inventive. Don't be afraid to change your mind about the way you want to do things. Just make a start. Begin to create what it is that you want to. Make a start at it, and you can adjust as you go. It doesn't have to be, one set whole piece from the outset. Like they used to say, I'm going to go on a tangent here, that Michael Jackson would walk into the studio and he would have the whole composition of a song in his mind. He would have it down to the last ooh and ah, okay? And they would just develop it the way he said, like the bass line's going to play it this way, and the guitar is going to play it this way, and so forth. So, not all of us are musical geniuses like that. Not all of us have that level of training in our area of study, okay, or even in our area of expertise. And not all of us are just that at ease with creating, okay? So give yourself a little slack. You don't have to walk into the studio knowing what the whole composition is supposed to sound like. You can take something that you think is a good start and work from there. Do your best, develop a system, refine the system, change the system when your emotions are telling you, this system isn't working for me anymore, this is tedious, this is boring. Then it's time to find a way to make it more fun for yourself again. Okay, and I've talked enough about that, so I'm going to go ahead and put these together. The Hermit and the Six of Cups. Okay, so, the first thing that comes to mind is that somebody is studying history and perhaps even like a family history. Please get in touch with me if you watch this and you've been looking into your family history, okay? It may be kind of, I'm thinking that it might be kind of hard to get beyond just a certain point in family history. I know for myself, I can only go 2 or 3 generations back, and even the names of those people are kind of lost to me. So, it can be difficult. And also, sometimes the reason we're going through our family history is to try to figure out, what was happening, in those sort of halcyon days when we were so happy and contented, and we had, perhaps a loved one or just a friend or a person in the community that looked out for us and helped us out, when we needed it. There's a lot going on in this card, because if you look closely, this person looks as though they are grown but quite small. And then this person almost looks like a child, but quite larger than the other, right? And then here they are, they have these cups of flowers around them, green things growing. And these people, especially this person, is dressed as though for winter. So, protecting ourselves from the elements comes in. Or, the capacity that we have not to remember things exactly as they were. Okay, so, in looking back on our own family histories, or in digging in any kind of history that we might be trying to find out more about, often we find that things are not as we remember them, or things are not as we remember them being told to us. And, like you might be having this idea in your head, like that you were, out playing in the garden with somebody when actually it was wintertime when whatever happened that day happened, right? Well, heck, y'all, I guess my phone cut out, the camera cut out on me there, so at about 12 minutes and something. So I'm just going to come back really quick and say, look, sometimes when we're trying to withdraw a little bit so that we can learn, so that we can sort of seclude ourselves and take on the data that we want to take on, sometimes people come out of our past. Sometimes people show up at our door trying to draw us out into the world, trying to draw us out from our space of study, okay? And then sometimes, things come up sort of trying to invite us back to doing things the way we used to do them before, right? And so we want to make sure that we also have good boundaries set up, good schedules set for ourselves, and that we really stick to them regarding what it is that we're trying to study, what it is that we're trying to take on and do, okay? All right, and the Six of Cups, there's that element of illusion there. I don't know if I said so. There's that element of illusion that comes up with memory, because most of our memories are, like we fill in the gaps. Our brains just fill in the gaps for us, okay? So understand that that things are just not always as they seem to have been. And also, understand that, illusions have an effect where we can get sort of lost in them or stuck on them, right? And that will blind us to the truth of the matter, and it'll also blind us to what is happening in the moment. Okay, I think that's all I have to say about it today, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate your presence here. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot.